Yo, welcome back to the Out the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy and Rory Luke. And wow, what a great weekend of Louisiana football. Everything was fantastic. The sun was shining Saturday. LSU campus was alive. The tailgating was there. Not a cloud in the sky. Not an ounce of mud on the ground. Lots of people out there. That's about the only true thing I've said so far. There was a ton of people out there. It was horrible. The weekend of Louisiana football was horrible. There's really no other adjectives, verbs, nouns, pronouns, whatever you want to. There's no other piece of the English language we can use to describe the 1-2 gut punch that LSU gave to the Louisiana faithful. Especially, I can't even believe they would do something like that after a hurricane, a pandemic, all these forces in nature, and it was just a tough weekend of football. We kid by saying that, but we're going to break it down. LSU tough loss to Auburn in Tiger Stadium. Final score 24-19. Then first thing Sunday morning, everybody's recovering from the late game. Saints drop an overtime game to the New York Giants. We're going to break it all down. We're here for it. We have a bright spot in the show, wide receiver number 1, Kayshon Boutte, back on the Out the Box podcast. And you know what he's the official athlete of? Boot Crew Media. Shout out to Boot Crew Media. Those guys persevered today. Today's going to go down in history. You know why, Luffy?
Why is that?
Because a company that is literally driven by social media, Boot Crew Media, survived the whole day with Instagram and Facebook being shut down, and we're still here. We're still here recording. It kind of put us back. We posted the Out the Box inbox. We opened it up, and I swear not an hour later, nobody could.
It may have been like
Instagram.
5 minutes later.
Literally, it was like, should we post it? Yeah, okay, let's do it. And then silence. But Twitter was rolling. And Boot Crew Media was alive on there. Shout out to those guys, man. Like we said last week, this is such a great time of year for content, whether it be fall food, the NFL is going on, college football, MLB playoffs. It's officially October.
It is October.
We hopefully the Maestros are going to make a run towards the World Series. Luffy, your Yankees, and Rory, your Mets. Lots of MLB coverage on there. You know what tonight is as well?
Monday Night Football.
As well as?
I don't know.
The Pels are back on the court. Finally, our boys over at Pro Pels Talk could not be more stoked. I saw a tweet from them earlier that said, after all the turmoil, after all the, questions surrounding this team, they think this might be the year that you actually start to see some cohesion and things kind of coming together. Zion.
Yeah, it's a big season for the Pels. If they don't win this year, then it starts looking pretty bad for Zion's chances of staying in New Orleans long term. And I think that's just kind of how the NBA is now, and it's kind of a make or break year for them. So go check out the boys at Pro Pels Talk.
Absolutely. Make sure to check out bootcrewmedia.com. Our boy Chris Calderera puts up fire articles every week. We had him on the podcast last week, and he was just as fantastic on the pod as he is on bootcrewmedia.com. Make sure to check out the content. Even if you're looking for somewhere good to go eat in New Orleans one night, there's a podcast and an Instagram page for that. Chop NOLA. Check them out. TCHOUP, like Chopatoulas, but Chopatoulas chop. Make sure to follow him on Instagram at boot_crew_media, as well as Facebook and Twitter, now that we're back up and running. And also, as good of a day as it could been, right, out at LSU, the hype around it was real. Let's say that. The hype was the best you're going to have on any college campus. And just like the hype was the best that you're going to have out at an LSU game, Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty is the best realtor you can get if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or rent a home. You can do all three. It's the triple threat, and Blaine wants you to know that he wants to be your friend, your neighbor, and your agent. You can call or text him at any time, 504-858-0031. He is a huge LSU fan, huge supporter of the Out the Box podcast. Please, when you call him, tell him the Out the Box show sent you, and he will give you a thumbs up and a smile, and he might even buy you lunch. Who knows? If you end up getting a deal with him, he might buy you lunch. So make sure to follow Blaine Loop at Blaine Loop Real Estate, and he wants you to know that Keller Williams is an equal opportunity housing partner. Each office is independently owned and operated. Sorry, I guess my thoughts are still a little bit jumbled after this brutal weekend of football. But I want to say this real quick, Rory. You know who won Friday night?
The Satyrs.
Catholic High School.
They did.
Catholic High won.
Well, Brother Martin played on Saturday, but they won. I just want to give a quick shout out. Some good news to Jay Johnson. I don't know if y'all have been following, but he has been killing the recruiting path. He's just been getting recruits after recruits for the baseball team. Just some positive news. Baseball team looks really good. Fall ball starting up, I think, this week or next week. Just some good news. Baseball team looks good going into next year. So at least we have that to look forward to.
And that's good news also, given that LSU basketball season hasn't even kicked off yet, And
they posted a fire post the other day talking just, a nice little hype video. It was nice.
It was getting you in your feels?
I don't know if it was getting my feels, but it was getting me excited for the season.
Should we watch it? Should we watch it before we start talking about the football to I guess, make it a little bit better? Or should we just roll right into it?
We should just roll right into it.
All right. All right. So last week on the podcast, we talked about how the atmosphere on campus was going to be electric, right? We talked about the tailgating, how it was at 8 p.m. Everyone was going to be fired up. First, SEC game back in Tiger Stadium in over 2 years. And to be honest with you, I'm being honest. This is kind of a little feeling I had, right? So I ended up going to the game and whatnot. And I feel like the weather was the first domino to fall in the, I guess, LSU's ultimate loss, right?
Yeah.
Just a slightly annoying rain all day. Everyone was wet, tailgating. That didn't stop people from being out there and tailgating, I'll tell you that. And it didn't stop people from being fired up when LSU took the field in Tiger Stadium. You had the guys parachuting in. That was electric. Always awesome to see that. And then LSU comes out, and to be honest with you, didn't start off the game looking that bad. But does that not seem like a theme of this LSU football team? We saw it against UCLA. You come out and at the very least, we're not giving up these big plays, these gut-wrenching things that seem like they could easily be stopped, right? So LSU comes out the gate, looks decent, winning the majority of the game, and then it felt like I got my ass beat at towards the end of the game. It was just punch after punch. Bo Nix running around in the backfield, big play after big play, runs that we didn't do. Why were we not running the ball? There's so many questions around, and they're all around the decisions, right? They're all around the decisions. I haven't heard, we're all sports radio junkies, right? We listen to it. We're checking Twitter constantly and all that. And every single question is about the decisions that were made, right? The mechanics of the offense, the mechanics of the defense, but none of it is about why did this player do this? Why did this player do that? Does it feel the same way to y'all?
Yeah, this is the reason why I picked Auburn. The state game, it was sloppy. It was still sloppy, even though we started off well. We couldn't hold on. It was almost a similar game in that way.
Yeah.
Like he was talking about, John. Good start, and then everything kind of breaks down. The penalties, we can't get the plays in time. We're wasting timeouts, that kind of stuff. We're too far into the season for that to continue to happen, and it's just unacceptable. And it was an embarrassing performance by the coaching staff. Even though I thought Durante Jones did a really good job with the defense, the crazy plays kind of got away from us in the second half. They converted every third down and every fourth down that they had to, and we didn't take advantages of opportunities early.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're looking at this objectively, I think you can't put this on the defense. I thought the defense played well. I thought Durante Jones had a good game plan going into the game. Bo Nix kind of just had some lucky plays and on 4th and 3rd down where you scramble around forever, and of course you're going to find somebody open when you have like 12 seconds of just running around. And that's just kind of luck. The domino just didn't fall our way on those plays. It seemed to fall Auburn's way every single time. And I can't really put that so much on the defense. I would put that more on Bo Nix becoming Alvin Kamara out there and just looking like slippery.
There were so many comps that I've heard. I've heard Johnny Manziel. I've heard Michael Vick. I've heard Mahomes. I've heard, now granted, like, you don't see that out of Bo Nix ever, right? So my question is, I understand that people, like, players make plays, right? We've seen Bo Nix perform well. As we talked about last week, he's regressed in his career, right? But to see him come out and look like that, he might have just been playing out of his mind or whatnot, but I feel like there's something we could have done.
See, I think it's just like Bo Nix as typical Bo Nix.
Yeah, that's kind of what he does.
Yeah, he just has really good games or really bad games. I mean, he looked awful 2 weeks ago and then looked great. I mean, he didn't even really look that good.
Yeah,
he just made plays when plays needed to be made.
But if he didn't look that good, then that means we looked bad.
And I
wouldn't say that.
A lot of the big plays came when Eli Ricks was out of the game. I did not understand that. I don't know if he was banged up or what, but he was standing there on the sideline looking like he was ready to go in. And I don't know if they were resting him or what, but to have Ricks out of the game on some of those crucial 3rd and 4th downs and Darren Evans in made absolutely no sense to me. Now, he may have been hurt. I don't know. And we were at the game, so we weren't watching the broadcast. And I watched a sped up version of the replay. Didn't hear like the announcers mention that. But overall, I mean, a couple missed tackles really were probably the difference in the game. But offensively, in the first half, we're up 10-0. We're driving. I think we had either 1st and goal or 1st and 10.
We're in the red zone for sure, within the 20-yard line. After
the Besh catch, and then we can't get kicking a field goal there makes absolutely no sense at all. We jump off sides on 4th and 1, goes back to an undisciplined team that isn't coached well, and a problem with that too is there is not enough rhythm with like the plays getting in and getting called on time, and that's on the coaches. And the full start, it makes it 4th and 6. I honestly think you have to go for it because 10-0, 13-0 does absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
I can't believe that Coach O, the way he is, like he's supposed to be this gritty guy, this guy who takes some chances and seems like fearless. That's his whole like thing. And he just kicks field goals because we have an automatic field goal kicker to go up 13-0. You score a touchdown there. The crowd's in the game. You take Auburn out of the game, 13-0 to 17-0 there, and then they drive down after we kick that field goal and score on that crazy 4th down play, and it's 13-7, and that's kind of when the game changed.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I felt like the offsides was a gut punch, and I understand why you kick the field goal after the offsides because it kind of takes the wind out of the sails. Like, you have a play for 4th and 1. Do you have a play for 4th and 6? Not really. But, I mean, just that series of events, those 2 drives, and then you get the crazy 4th down throw, which just, like, took the air out of Tiger Stadium.
You felt that. You felt it deflate.
There were multiple times where we were in the stadium and people just like the whole stadium started cheering because everybody thought Bo Nix was sacked, and then he just magically was not sacked. And that just felt like the whole game. And getting back to the offense, I mean, in the 4th quarter, the offense was just miserable. I think that we really it didn't feel like to me that we had a problem running the football. I mean, I can remember multiple 10, 9-yard gains, 6-yard gains. Like, we really didn't have a problem running the football. We just went away from it when we didn't need to.
Why?
I mean,
why?
I don't know. I don't have the answers.
I've not heard one person give a logical explanation why we would do that.
I don't think running the ball is in the game plan, really. And maybe that sounds weird, but I mean,
that sounds very weird considering you're playing
Rory
football.
Would know more than me, but it obviously wasn't. If it was in the game plan, the runs would have been called. They have got to, and
I'm with you on
the
that.
short passes for the most part were working on 1st down. Like we were moving the ball, and then we could not get it in the end zone. kicked 2 back-to-back field goals to make it 10 and then 13.
Yeah.
And, it sucks. It's harder to do that start with the short passes on first down, but it was working for a while. And the offense seemed to get worse, and that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
I know they changed the defense a little bit in the second half, but their adjustments weren't made for us offensively.
Yeah, and I think it was just frustrating when you see the 2nd and 10, and then you get to a 3rd and 4, and it's like, well, if only we had run the ball on first down. You don't have that 2nd and 10. You still run the same play, and you get the first down. I mean, it was just incredibly frustrating. I mean, the most frustrating drive to me is the second to last drive of the game. We get amazing field position. We're at the 45, midfield pretty much. You get 2 first downs. You go just kick a field goal, and you're up 6 points, which, I mean, wouldn't have technically won the game, but you just feel at a so much better spot when you're up 6 compared to 3. And so I just it was frustrating. Or what? No, 5 compared to 2. We were up 2, and so you just go up where they have to score a touchdown. I feel like the final drive goes different. You get Tiger Stadium back on their feet, get them loud.
What a terrible reversal of that call too.
Yeah,
that's like the Des Bryant thing a couple years back. And how are you going to call it out on the field and then just reverse it? It's supposed to be,
it has to be undisputable,
it's supposed to be clear.
Yeah, clear and convincing evidence.
And it's just that was ridiculous. And like that, it seemed like I didn't even realize, because they didn't show the replay in the stadium, I don't think, or at least you couldn't see from the angle.
You couldn't really see
that they showed. And for them to overturn that, I mean, he caught the ball, he had multiple feet in, and his body landed out of bounds before the ball came out. I don't see how the play's not dead there. Awful job by the officiating crew, but I mean, ultimately, that's not really the reason we lost the game.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I agree, horrible call and whatnot, but the whole thing I kept saying walking out of the stadium was every point during the game, it was a winnable game, despite Bo Nix running around like Michael Vick, like Mahomes, like getting out of trouble like that. He looked like Joe Burrow evading like all the rushing attack and whatnot. And like I just everything felt winnable, and that's what hurts so much about this game. Right?
And I think that's all a testament to the defense. I think the defense kept us in the game, especially in the second half.
Plenty of chances.
The offense did nothing to win the game, and I think that's where most of the blame lies, and especially just with the coaching and the decisions made, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't good.
So taking a step back, looking at the stats, right? What was Auburn's biggest strength on offense coming into the game? Their rushing attack, right? Who do you think had the most yards rushing on the offense for Auburn?
I mean, since you asked, probably Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. So we were able to shut down the two of the best running backs and one of the best rushing games in the SEC. And then all of a sudden, a team, LSU, who was notorious and for years, and we're going to get to this in a second, but would you have thought a few years ago that LSU was going to run for 11 yards in an SEC game? I don't understand.
It's kind of a taste of our own medicine, because that's all we asked for was to throw the ball, and then now we don't run the ball.
But nobody, whenever they say that, expects to not have a balanced game plan, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
In football,
but I'm just saying.
you have to have both, right? You could air it out more. LSU used to be heavily favored on the run because they would just mow through everybody, and they were just bigger and better and stronger, and that's what you could do. Times have changed, and now you have to have a balanced offense.
It was 11 yards?
11 yards.
So I have 29 yards for LSU. Georgia State the week prior ran for 267 on Auburn.
Exactly. That is a crippling stat to look at, especially given that you knew this was coming, right?
I will say I did and you've talked about this so many times, James, but there were more designed max runs. I noticed some way more.
There was 3.
But that's more than in the past.
No, sure. It was infinitely many more.
And I just don't understand why we didn't keep that up. I mean, it just seems like you have I understand the RPO offense, and we did run that a lot in 2019, and this is a 2019 offense, but it takes a special quarterback to run the 2019 offense and special wide receivers. But I don't understand why we haven't incorporated a true option game, where Max can take the ball if he wants to, and it doesn't have to be a pass. It can still be a threat of an RPO, but it's just called runs. It just wasn't good.
It still seems like they're giving Max too much to think about. And first of all, he's been the last couple of weeks, I think he's been really, really good.
I think he's the only reason that we are anywhere near decent.
He's the only reason that we're going to have a chance kind of going forward in these games.
I mean, and the guest that's coming on, Kayshon, I mean, if he's just going to make those, I mean, we didn't even talk about it, but
that first touchdown catch was,
I mean, we were all in the stadium, and when he caught that, I was in shock.
Yeah,
I had no clue how he caught that ball. And when you saw the replay, and it was a perfectly paced ball right into his hands.
I just thought of the first question I'm going to ask him.
And I mean, without him, I don't know where this offense would be at either.
What did you think about the pass protection of the offensive line?
I mean,
I thought it was a little bit better.
I didn't think
I thought it was going to be. I mean,
yeah, I didn't think it was bad, but I think that's also just Auburn's defensive line Auburn's defense just isn't that good, and I just think that we kind of just played down and had bad play calling. I wouldn't point the finger at the offensive line like you would maybe at the UCLA game or at Max, maybe at the UCLA game, but I just think it was bad play calling, and it didn't look good. We looked stagnant on offense.
Calling play.
The plays have got to get in.
Snapping the ball with 3 seconds left on the clock. Every time the untimely timeouts and we briefly touched on this, but this is an important question, right? We've seen what Corey Kiner can do. We know at this point in Ty Davis-Price's career, we know what we have, right? Why are we not being more creative? Why are we not getting Kiner the touches?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just the game plan thing, like we said earlier, that if they're not going to run the ball, then he's not going to get that many touches. But the timeout thing's an absolute joke. They've got to figure that out. It really does look like a Les Miles coach team. And that's certainly not a good thing.
And this is crazy sad. I saw this today from Cody Worsham. He said Corey Kiner averages 5.2 yards a carry and 4 yards after contact, which would be 4 yards after contact, sixth best in the SEC, and 0.44 missed tackles per carry, fifth in the SEC. I mean,
and
we know what we have there.
Armani Goodwin. He looks fast whenever he's out there.
It's just annoying.
I'm of the mindset that if something's not working, why would you just continue doing it in the hopes that it's gonna start working?
Well, that's why they're not running the ball. If you want your
instead of trying something new, instead of getting creative. And look, I've pretty much said it every week on the show. Pete's is calling plays for the first time on his own, being a coordinator. Now that's a whole nother issue, right? So Moscona said it today on the radio. He said having a guy calling plays for his first time at LSU, that's so backwards, right? You never hear about a coach going to a school with the pedigree, with the talent and whatnot. And that's not Pete's fault, right? He's a young guy. He's learning under, to be honest with you, Coach O, who the game plan hasn't been there.
I just think people are just picking and choosing things to be mad at that point, because Joe Brady never really called plays until he got here.
I was going to say that same thing.
I mean, that's just like being
I'm saying it's understandable. I'm not saying it's Pete's fault, but it does make sense.
I think that's what you look for in an offense nowadays.
And I think Joe Brady was a lot more of an outlier, correct?
I mean, I agree, but I'm just saying, you want the young mind in the offense. I think that's where college football is trending towards, especially on the recruiting side. You want the young players. I mean, even how bad Pete's has been, you've only heard good things about his relationship with Arch Manning and things like that. The young guys are the future of college football on the coordinator side, because you need them recruiting just as much as you need them on the field, and you need the minds. But it just was not a good game.
I agree. And I think this begs the question. And I think every LSU fan, at some point this season, if they haven't already, a lot of people already have, is asking the question. So So at the beginning of the season, we did our season predictions, and Luffy, I think you were very level-headed about it. You gave a more of an honest answer, and I Rory, you were a little bit closer. I gave what I've seen LSU do my whole life, right? I gave a prediction of what I would expect LSU to have done for the majority of my life. Now, I said 10-2. That's more of a homer pick looking back at it, but and correct me, and I don't know if I'm even saying this right, but has LSU reached the point of not getting the benefit of the doubt anymore because we're LSU? Like, let me say that again in some different words. Just because we're LSU, we're not at this level that we have been for so long.
I mean,
we have regressed into.
I don't think that we've been at that level for a long time. I think we got lucky in 2019 and 2018 we were at a good level, but like, I mean, you think about the 2015 team, that was a 9-win team. Same thing with 2016. That might have been an 8-win team in 2016.
But this is uncharted waters. We will be lucky to be slightly above 500 or 500 this year.
I think that's just also a testament to the competition levels. I think the SEC is only getting better, and we are just staying the same, which I don't know what needs to change with something.
But the SEC, everybody's beating everybody.
Exactly.
But if you look at it, like our roster is still better, and like this team, it's not like that far away. Like it's not as far off from being an elite team as it looks. It really isn't.
Agree.
It's a coaching thing. This, especially offensively. I mean, besides maybe the offensive line, the defense has the talent to be
a very good defense,
a very, very good defense,
and the offense really does have the talent as well.
Yeah, and the offense has the talent as well. And I mean, it's just that's the thing. Like it's a coaching thing. We shouldn't have lost this game, and we shouldn't have lost to UCLA. You know, the talent is there,
and that is the most hurtful thing. Look, if we're not good enough, and the guys are going out there and giving their all, and we're not shooting ourselves in the foot, if we're not calling timeouts out of kickoffs, if we're blitzing when we need to, if we're on time, if we're snapping the ball in a timely manner, if we actually look like, and I'm going to keep referencing people on the radio because I've heard it all today. T-Bob, he was like, the mechanics just aren't even there. Like, it's not even like people are just walking up to the line and just kind of bending down, and because they know that they have 40 seconds to recover and catch their breath before the play's even going to get called in. And then they're just going to have to rush. And I've learned one thing: when you rush something like this, calling plays, getting things in, everything in a frenzy, that has never worked for anybody.
Yeah, and this question's been asked a lot to me, and I know we're not in House Always Wins yet. I mean, inbox yet. But
no, I'll go ahead and tell you, in the House Always Wins, we're not hitting the 8.5 over that was set by Vegas before the season. Over wins.
That is right. But a lot of people have been asking me who would be the interim head coach.
Corey Raymond.
Rory and I talked about this previously. You look at all the coaches, and the only guy that I could see it being is Mickey Joseph. Just because he's been here, he has experience, he knows how to recruit. He feels like he could hold a team together, because it's not going to be one of the coordinators. Obviously, they're brand new in their first year, and I don't think Corey Raymond wants that like attention of doing that.
I don't think he does either.
And that's a whole different like workload, right, Rory?
Yeah, I think that if Corey Raymond wanted even a defense coordinator job, I think he could have gotten one by now. He's consistently put out the best defensive backs.
And maybe it will be. That would be. It would just shock me, just because he seems like kind of a quiet to himself.
I feel
guy.
like he would have already gotten that opportunity if he wanted it. I mean, if he wanted a defense coordinator job, and even if he wanted a head coaching job, I think that there might be a world in where Corey Raymond would already be a head coach if he really wanted it. So I just don't think he wants a job, and I think I agree. I think Mickey Joseph is probably your only guy on this team that would be an interim head coach. That being said, I don't think that they fire mid-season. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's that bad. Maybe if they keep him this year and going into next year, and then we see the same thing, it could be a Les Miles thing where the first 3 weeks of the season and then they fire him. but I just don't see that happening.
Would you say this is right or wrong? They're conducting a coaching search right now. They've started conducting the coaching search.
I mean,
our athletic director.
You've said this multiple times, and I agree with you. Scott Woodward is hands-on, and he is not afraid to make the move.
Or spend money. And I get that. I think there probably is an underground coaching search going on, depending on how this year ends up turning out. I have no earthly idea who would come in and be our coach. It's hard to find a very good coach in college football. I don't think there are very many of them that are consistently at the top. I mean, you see it with Texas. Texas has not found a coach since Mac Brown. It's very hard. I think there's the cream of the crop, and then it's kind of just like a shit show beneath. So I don't know where we would go with that, but a big difference between LSU and a lot of these teams that have changed coaches is we've at least been solid enough to keep these high level recruiting classes year after year. So someone should be able to come in and turn it around within 2 or 3 years. You know, you can kind of tell after that period, 2, 3, 4 years. Some of these other schools have just been bad in turning over coaches every 3 to 4 years, 2 sometimes, and that's just a terrible recipe for trying to like keep a program elite.
I'm gonna go ahead and apologize. I'm sorry to everybody, all the LSU faithful, all the LSU fans out there, the supporters that LSU football and LSU as their life. Rory, me and you sat next to each other at the Natty in 2019. And I know I'm the only LSU fan that did this, but I looked at you and I announced that I had made a deal with the devil, that I didn't care. And this was reckless. It was reckless when I said it, and I still regret it every day of my life.
See,
let me.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm emotional. But I said, I don't care if LSU loses every game for the next 5 years. This was so worth it. I know I'm the only person that said that in the whole LSU fan base. I'm sorry.
I would not trade. We could have this for the next 5 years. And I mean, on top of what we've already had, where we're just a meddling team, and I still would never trade 2019.
No.
I mean.
No. Okay, I'll go ahead and rephrase. Let me be very clear. I'm not sorry that it happened. I'm sad because it
came true.
Can't happen again.
And it came true. Your deal with the devil came true.
Right. I'm sorry for all you other losers that didn't care that 2019 was the greatest season of all time. So that's it. So
all right, inbox
I'm not emotional anymore.
House always wins.
Do we have any inbox questions?
Yes, we do have some.
The Instagram purge of 2021 wipe out the questions?
I can read them.
Let's quick fire some questions.
If someone wants to.
Here, can you read them or?
I got them. They're right here.
All right.
Oh, is this one just blank?
All right.
We got a blank question.
That's somebody they just didn't know what to say.
All right.
They're just so mind blown after the game.
Who do y'all want to see as the next head coach, and why is it Dave Aranda? This one's from Chris Mills, and I actually thought about this a couple weeks ago when I was like just looking at how Baylor's doing. I don't think it would be Aranda. I think he just kind of knows what comes with coaching LSU.
I don't think he's fit,
but I don't know. It's just a different level of job than what is Baylor. But you know, maybe he is. Maybe he is. It's really tough to say.
I don't think he's a right fit. I think that's just a homer pick by people who know what's going on. Dave Aranda's a good coach. He deserved a head coaching job. Does he deserve a head coaching job at LSU right now? No.
I think he's a great assistant. He's a fantastic coordinator.
Yeah, he's a great defensive coordinator, but I mean,
you need to see more from him.
I think there's other names in the hat that are being considered.
You do, but like, what if he's on like a kind of, and this is crazy because Saban's the greatest coach of all time, but like this is kind of how it's kind of like similar to what Saban did.
Yeah,
and like if he kept getting like if he got a little bit bigger head coaching job, like he might develop into some just like quiet, like stern, winner.
Yeah,
he is.
I mean,
he's a great defensive coach.
He's got a far away. That's a crazy thing to say, but
did Aranda? Let me ask you this, Rory. Like at Aranda at practice, and
I don't think I ever heard Aranda say like
that's what I was going to
10
ask.
words.
That's
He
exactly
talked to the linebackers, but besides that,
I went to a couple practices too. Never heard him.
No,
never heard him.
Maybe an individual yelling at linebackers, but that was it.
I kind of like that. He's like a silent assassin.
Yes, he is, dude, and he's a defensive genius.
He's a defense.
All right,
and then Mills also asked, "Don't see it happening, but how much would you give Joe Brady to come back?"
He doesn't want to coach college football.
No,
I don't think they offered
NFL.
him. I think maybe more money than the Panthers, even though you don't know because they don't have to release how much money they're paying their coaches.
Yeah, his next job will be an NFL head coach.
I think it's very clear that he hated recruiting. Like hated it.
It's just a different league.
The hours are different.
Yeah,
different
and Joe Brady's not the type of coach that needs the college football. Like Nick Saban needs college football because he's good at molding young men and he's a stern coach. And it's hard to be stern when you have players that are making way more money than you are. And they're grown men, 33 years old. You can't yell at a 33-year-old man.
Nick Saban
He's just not going to. And look how he did in the NFL.
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer is Urban Meyer. If we can hold on,
Urban Meyer might be coming to bat.
I'm about to say, if we can hold on to O for like 2 more years until we fire him, Urban Meyer might be coming to bat.
Did you see that video last week? 2 more years.
That's true. I mean, his fingers were all over the place. The other angle didn't help him out.
It's a kid show, Rory. Kid show.
All right. So
next question.
No, I think, but just the last thing on that, I do think that there are names in the hat, but the sad part also is that I really do like Coach O as the face.
Yeah,
that also sucks.
It's tough because I don't think there's a person in Louisiana that was rooting against Coach O, but that's just how it happens.
All right, this one's from Colton Pike. Do you think Stingley would have affected this game enough to save the offense?
Shout out Colton Pike. He's coming
shout out
to
Colton.
the inbox.
Shout out Colton. My answer is no.
I agree.
Wait, say it again.
Do you think Stingley would have affected the game enough to save the offense?
No.
I don't think. I mean, I think Stingley helps a game, but at the end of the day, where Auburn's offense excelled was like 12 seconds into the clock, and it doesn't matter who's back there. Somebody's going to get open.
I do have a question, real quick fire.
Unless Stingley was playing running back and they decided to run the ball.
Is it possible that the whole offensive running attack was going to be centered around John Emery? Do you think John Emery makes a difference in this?
I don't think so.
No.
Maybe if John Emery was 2015 Leonard Fournette, who then got suspended in 2016, like if Leonard would have got suspended before the 2015 season, yes, that would definitely have affected our game plan. But John Emery hadn't shown enough to be like, I don't even know if he was going to be the featured back.
What if they just abandoned the running game because he was literally the focal point of our rushing?
That just doesn't seem like any coach would do that. All right. Colton also asked, what is the next step? What do you think happens with the program? We kind of talked about it. Like, I think Scott Woodward's probably conducting a coaching search as we speak.
Yeah, I think we're in good hands. And we've seen it all over LSU athletics in general. Scott Woodward is not afraid to make the move. Whether it be the big move. I mean, he probably
Kim Mulkey.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest move that's ever been made in women's college basketball. I think I straight up am pretty sure that the lower bowl is 100% sold out for women's college basketball, which is absurd to think about because LSU has not been a good college basketball team in a long time, or women's college basketball team in a long time. But he is not afraid to make the move. And we also saw it with the baseball search. I mean, he was going to give I can't even remember Tennessee's coach's name, and he's not even worth me looking it up. But we were going to pay the big bucks for him. He didn't want to come here. He is not afraid to make a move. I mean, if you think about it, the only coach he kept is Will Wade, and there's no reason not to keep Will Wade. But he has fought for Will Wade now. Well, I know. Will Wade, we're keeping Will Wade. Now it doesn't even matter. Now you can legally pay players. I mean, pretty much. You might as well they're just all sponsored. They're all sponsored by Will Wade's laundromat.
Yeah, and who's scared of the FBI anymore?
I mean, yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, that's so
Facebook,
like 2019.
Yes. Facebook's scared of the FBI.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to our interview with wide receiver 1, Mr. Kayshon Boutte. coming on the Out of the Box Show, official Boot Crew Media athlete. And I think we should get Workbox to sponsor this interview.
Workbox is one of Louisiana's leaders in construction, industrial, and residential services. With more than 20 years of experience in the industry, they can provide anything you need: storage containers, porta potties, portable offices, portable restroom rentals, luxury portable restroom rentals, and roll-off dumpsters. I was with Martine from Workbox this weekend. We were on the golf course on Sunday. I had to tell him, no working out here. He's always working, but I had to tell him
put the phone
ease
away
off for the couple hours we were out there. But that's how often he is working and ready to go. If you need a storage container, portable toilets, luxury restroom rentals, roll-off dumpsters, call Martine at Workbox at 225-343-4886. Call Martine at Workbox.
I'll tell you what, those porta potties on campus with all the bad weather and all that,
Not as good as Workbox.
Disgusting. Not even close to Workbox. All right. Speaking of
the best in the
great
game.
companies, let's have some more company join us. Kayshon Boutte. We now have a very special guest coming back on the Out the Box podcast, official Boot Crew Media athlete, wide receiver 1, Mr. Kayshon Boutte. And let's start with the highlight of the night, at least for me and I think the majority of the fans. How on the earth did you catch that ball? And you know which one I'm talking about.
Talking about the first one?
Yep. First touchdown.
I mean, it's really all focus. You focusing on the ball, then everything gonna fall into its place, and you practice it throughout the week, so it come easy in the game.
Do you practice like crazy catches? Because you always see like OBJ and whatnot at practice catching one-handed catches. Do you like take time at practice to do that?
Nah, I don't really do one-hand catches.
I will say we all went to the game, and when you caught that,
I was mind blown.
I had no earthly idea how you caught that ball. I feel like it was like a perfectly placed ball, and then you just did everything that you needed to do.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. Quarterback put it in a great spot and made a play.
So Kayshon, we know how the game turned out and whatnot, but can you kind of comment on your thoughts on? I believe that was your first time in a fully packed LSU stadium for an SEC game. I guess can you kind of talk about the emotions of the game, given how crowded and loud it was?
I mean, that was my first game fully with the stadium being the way it was being, and it was a good feeling at first. Well, no, I'm not gonna say at first, but it was really a good feeling all together. And the fans stayed throughout the whole game and supported us. We just got to finish stronger and better.
Kayshon, in the locker room after the game, in a tough game like that, which you feel like you should have won, does Coach O say anything, or does any of the other coaches speak to the team as a whole?
Yeah, because well, they really do a little bit, but it's really not too much to say. We know what we messed up and what we could have improved.
What does Coach O say? Like, kind of what is his tone after a game like that?
I mean, as a head coach, I mean, I wouldn't say aggressive, but like you would be upset kind of because it was a game that you was really supposed to win. So, I mean, he should have every right to feel the way he do.
And is that where he kind of puts the game on himself after the game, or does he call out specific position groups or specific coaches or players, or is he kind of take it all on himself?
Nah, he put it on himself, but I mean everybody could have did better on their parts individually.
Kayshon, not to harp on it, but do you have like an escape from football? Like, say after a game like that, do you have like a hobby you like to do that has nothing to do with football?
Nah, not really. I really just go to the crib, probably hop on the game.
Xbox,
PlayStation,
Call of Duty, Madden.
I don't really play the game a lot like I used to, but I be on 2K, Fortnite a little bit, and Madden.
Have you ever gotten a dub in Fortnite?
Of course. Well, all I get is dubs.
I feel like at this point, everybody like that has ever played Fortnite has had to have gotten at least one win,
I've never gotten one.
except for you.
I say I've been playing probably. Gotta take the stab. I probably been playing. Probably been playing 3 days after the game came out. So I mean,
So a long time.
So you're a beast.
yeah, it dropped my sophomore year of high school, so I've been at it really.
Where are you at right now?
Huh?
Where you at right now?
Going back to my apartment.
He's going to hop on Fortnite. So, Kayshon, obviously Kentucky, they were able to top Florida this past week. I know y'all's preparation doesn't change from opponent to opponent, but away game coming up this week. How are you specifically getting ready to head up Kentucky?
I mean, I'm really not changing my practice style because I feel like if I'm playing good, there's really nothing that I really need to change. But I think this week is just really more of a focus thing. Coming close as a team, really.
Do you feel like we need to continue to be more aggressive on offense as far as going forward on fourth down instead of kicking field goals?
Yeah, it depends on the situations, but I mean, we had our opportunities where we had the chance to score a touchdown. Just came short, and that's what we need to improve at.
Kayshon, this might be kind of a tough question. So, is who on the offense? Is there somebody when I guess whenever you kind of lose focus, or say you get an offsides, or somebody runs the wrong route? Is there like one specific person that on the team that kind of is the leader that gets in somebody's face? Is it you? That not in a mean way or anything, just like to say, hey, come on, get in line, let's get it right, and let's get back on track.
I mean, in the receiver room, if it was a receiver, then we'll hold him to that standard and let him know that he got to pick up his play, because we all play as the team go, and we're a big part of the team. The team go as we go.
I like that. It's like everybody. So it's more of there's not one guy, because I feel like if there's one guy, then he can kind of alienate himself from the rest of the team, kind of create like a tier system or not. But I think that is beneficial to have everybody holding each other accountable.
Well, which I asked?
I was just saying, I don't know. I'm just kind of offering my own thoughts on kind of what y'all need to do to get things on track. But no, just everyone holding each other accountable. I think that's probably the best way to win. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that really is the best way to win.
Y'all got any more questions for the man?
No, sir. Go take care of Kentucky for us.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good luck this weekend.
All right, Kayshon. Appreciate it, my man.
Yes, sir.
Let's get to the House Always Wins segment presented by the House Bar in Tigerland.
Shout out Jeff. He won his House Always Wins last week.
Did we all lose?
I lost.
Jets beat the Titans in OT for a loss.
So we all lost, but the
Jeff,
House Bar owner always wins.
This is
and
true.
we kind of messed up. I tweeted yesterday that we were going to get Jeff on as a recurring picker, but we're already recording. It's too late, and he doesn't answer his phone. So, so we will have Jeff back on, and we're going to record at the House Bar. A lot more coming up. Rory's going to be DJing there soon.
This Thursday.
Wow.
Come see me.
Thursday. All right. Heading up. Get ready for the weekend. Heading up to Kentucky, if you're going, which I doubt you are. Not you, but I just don't know if a lot of.
So this is a House Always Wins segment sponsored by the House Bar in Tigerland. Shout out to the House Bar in Tigerland. Go see them every night. Tonight, when this is dropping, it is their
T-shirt night.
But it's a special T-shirt night.
Every T-shirt night is a special T-shirt.
It is. Wait. Oh, never mind. They put it on their story, but they took it down
because Instagram was messed up today.
This is true. Go see them Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, all out there. Last week, I had Arkansas plus 18. Arkansas got smacked in the mouth. We didn't really talk about this on the show, but Alabama and Georgia are the best 2 teams in college football by far. I can't wait for the SEC championship, and then they will see each other probably in the national championship or in the semifinals. But they're definitely the best 2 teams in football.
So fun to watch Georgia's defense play.
They play really well. I think that's going to be a great game. I can't wait for that. So this week I'm 0-2 the last 2 weeks college football. So I'm taking my talents to playoff baseball, and I'm giving you a little future. I will say last year I did call the Dodgers to win, and I did call it in Game 6. So decent on my baseball playoff futures, but I am taking the Rays to win the pennant. The Rays only have 2 pitchers that went over 180 innings this year. They really have the best pitching staff in the AL. They're a complete team, top to bottom. I think they're really good. Their analytics department is insane. They know exactly what to do. They play really good baseball. I just don't see anybody in the AL coming close and beating them. So give me the Rays plus 250 to win the AL, to win the pennant.
All right, first of all, before my pick, shout out Sam Burns, LSU Tiger on the PGA Tour. He got his 2nd tour win. He's only 25 years old, and he's the 18th ranked golfer in the entire world.
Woo!
Your very own Sam Burns taking home $1.3 million for a weekend's work.
I've heard that you're working on some inner workings on.
I would love to have Sam Burns on.
You're putting the chess pieces together.
Hey, and that he's a competitor too. I think the rest of the sports might need a little help with his competitive juices. He wasn't picked for the Ryder Cup, first tournament back. He's the favorite. He was actually the favorite in that tournament that week. And it is very hard as a golfer to win as a favorite, a rare thing to do. He comes out, he dominates.
That is kind of crazy. He won as a favorite.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to be a favorite of the tournament at 25 years old.
That is crazy as well.
And to come out and to get it done.
Especially early in the season, started off right.
Started off hot.
That I can never even fathom that, like something like that.
What?
Like just being
a professional golfer?
Well, no. I mean, that would be sick, but like just being that good at anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, 18th in the entire world. Not in the country. It's an international sport.
No, I mean, that's it. Like most people won't. I'm just saying, like, that hit me.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm going to baseball as well. I'm going Astros series price. I think the Astros could go to the World Series this year. Should be a good World Series final.
Yeah.
I'm going Astros series price. It's minus 125. I think it's solid odds
against the White Sox. Shout out
against the White Sox.
Jack Wilson. James is against your White Sox this week, Jack. I'm sorry to hear that.
All right. I picked the Saints last week. Whatever. They lost. They were supposed to win, but they lost. I had them every which way. I had them in a survivor pool. That sucked.
They killed every teaser alive.
They did. Them and the Titans.
Yeah.
Yep. Titans killed my teaser last week.
Not ideal, but I am going to go with Bama. They're going to cover against Texas A&M. A&M last week lost to Mississippi State.
What is that?
Who LSU beat. I swear, I think the transitive property hold on. The transitive property has destroyed college football this year. Technically, since we beat Mississippi State beat A&M, and then Florida beat Kentucky. Florida almost beat Kentucky beat Florida. We're going up to play Kentucky. We're going to beat them. Georgia and Bama. Georgia's going to play Bama. Bama's going to end up making it into the playoffs. And everyone's going to beat everybody, but somehow the cream's going to rise to the top. Bama and Georgia are going to be in the championship again. Anyway, Bama's going to cover this weekend against Texas A&M.
And what a typical Mike Leach game to win. I knew State was going to win that game before. I should have bet the money line instead of the points, but that's kind of who he is a little bit.
I know he sneaks up on you. Yeah. What is it minus?
It's minus 17.5. So
I kind of like that. So I mean, that's kind of crazy that you only give A&M 3 more points than Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is much better than A&M.
the half.
Offensively, they're a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
Don't buy the half point. And to be honest with you, just a quick comment on Ole Miss Bama. Bama did blow out Ole Miss, but I do not think Ole Miss is a bad football team at all. I think that was more of a reflection on how good Bama is.
I think
they took some crazy chances.
I think that it really just like the Ole Miss and Arkansas. I don't think they're bad teams. I think it just showed how good Georgia and Alabama are this year. I think they're by far the best two teams in college
and
football.
Second pick. 2 picks in the House Always Wins segment because I lost last week.
Didn't you have the Bengals too?
Nope.
On Instagram? Who put that up? Was that you, Rory?
That was Rory.
Instagram story?
I didn't put that up.
That was a collective podcast. That was a collective podcast.
That
pick.
was not me.
Ole Miss playing Arkansas this weekend at Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is going to come back strong, -6.5 against Arkansas. So I think those are both locks. If you want to get just crazy, parlay it and see what happens. But I think that about does it for the House Always Wins segment and our show. Thank you guys so much for listening, even through thick and thin. This was a rough week in and of itself. I hope LSU fans, Saints fans alike can get back on the horse next week and come out and be proud of what they're watching, right? LSU goes up to Kentucky this weekend. The
Undefeated
Saints,
Kentucky.
that is horrifying. The Saints
Head to
are heading
DC.
up to DC to play the football team. So ought to be a great weekend of football. It's bounce back season. We're ready to go. But thank you guys so much for listening. We can't do it without you guys. We're here every single week because we love it, and we love you guys listening to our show, liking our posts,
We just love you so
and
much.
sharing our show. That's the greatest compliment you can give us. Shout out to the House Bar in Tigerland, Workbox LLC, Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty, and BootCrewMedia.com.
And I really liked being chirped at the tailgate this past weekend about not picking LSU, even though it turned out to be right. I did enjoy. I like people communicating, whether it's talking shit in person or on Twitter or Instagram, whatever. We like the interactions. And shout out Alex Forbes.
Peace.